Good day, everyone. Welcome back to our subject, Contemporary World. And we are done with Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And now we are targeting to finish this Chapter 3, which is all about the market integration. So these are the topics for Chapter 3. First, we have the introduction, the international financial institutions, the Bretton Woods system, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, and the World Trade Organization, or WTO. Next, the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the World Bank, the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, it's NAFTA, okay? And the history of global market integration, the agricultural revolution and the industrial revolution, the capitalism and socialism, and the information revolution. And for today's discussion, we are targeting to finish these 5 topics. Kani sila. Kani 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So let's start with the introduction. So for much of human history, all of our societies on the earth were poor, and poverty was the norm for everyone, but obviously that is not the case anymore. Just as we find the stratifications among social economies, classes within a society like the Philippines, we would also see across the world of a pattern of global stratifications with the inequalities in wealth and power between societies. And now you're going to expose to the different theories of global stratifications. And let's start with this. So introduction of our discussion for Chapter 3. The integration shows the relationship of the firm in a market. So the extent of integration influences the conduct of the firms and consequently their marketing efficiency. Mana siya ang naka-influence sa extent of integration. Second, the behavior of a highly integrated market is different from that of a disintegrated market. And markets differ in the extent of integration. And there is a variation in their degree of efficiency. Therefore, market integration is a process where refers to the expansions of firms by consolidating additional marketing functions and activities under a single management. Okay, next. And also, this Chapter 3 will show the contributions of the different financial and economic institutions that facilitated the growth of the global economy. And the history of a global market will be discussed by looking at the different economic revolution and the growth and the dynamics of multinational corporations that are emerging in today's world economy will also be examined. Okay, so let's start with the International Financial Institution, or IFI. Okay, muna siya ang gitawag nga IFI, or the International Financial Institution. So there are 3 basic kinds of market integrations, and one is sila. The world, again, we have the international financial institutions. So world economies have been brought closer together by globalization. It is reflected in the phrase, when the American economy sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. So, but it is important to remember that it is only the economy of United States, but also other economies in the world that have a significant impact on the global market and finance. Again, it is important to remember that it is not, it is only the economy of United States. It is not only the economy of United States, but also the economies in the world that have a significant impact on the global market and finance. Okay. Next, an international financial institution, or IFI, is a financial institution that has been established or chartered by more than one country and hence is subject to international law. Its owners or shareholders are generally national governments, although other international institutions and other organizations occasionally figure as a shareholder. Although countries are heavily affected by the gains and crisis in the world economy, and now you are going to know the following financial institution and economic organization that made countries even closer together. Okay, so let's start with the Bretton Woods system. So Bretton Woods system established in 1944. The major economies in the world had suffered because of the World War I, the Great Depression in the 1930s, and the World War II. Because of the fear of the recurrence of lack of cooperation among the nation states, political instability, and economic turmoil, especially after the Second World War. Okay? Wala siya ang fear of recurrence of lack of cooperation among nation states. Next, create a set of rules that would maintain fixed exchange rates in the face of short-term fluctuations. It is a large capital movement and less controllable. Requirement of stability system, the financial security and stable situation, and again, implementing a system of fixed exchange rate with the US dollar as the key currency. Therefore, ang purpose, or we say the main goal of this Bretton Woods system was to regulate the international monetary and financial. Again, the main purpose or the main goal of the Bretton Woods system was to regulate the international monetary and financial. And that is the Bretton Woods system. Next, we have the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, and the World Trade Organization, WTO. So according to PET year 2003, the global trade and finance was greatly affected by the Bretton Woods system. And one of the systems born out of Bretton Woods was the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT, that was established in year 1947. So the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade was a forum for the meeting of representatives from 23 member countries, and it focused on trade goods through multinational trade agreements conducted in many rounds of negotiation. And the WTO, or the World Trade Organization headquarters, is located in Geneva or Geneva, Switzerland, with 152 member states as of 2008. And that's according to Trachman year 2007. So unlike to General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, or GATT, ang World Trade Organization, or WTO, is an independent multilateral organization that become responsible for trade in services, non-tariff related barriers to trade, and other broader areas of trade liberalization. Okay, and that's the differences between the GATT and WTO. Okay, again ha, ang GATT was a forum for a meeting of representative from 23 member countries, and nag-focus po ng GATT on trade goods through multinational trade agreement conducted in many rounds of negotiation. That's right. But the World Trade Organization, or WTO, muna siya ang independent multilateral organization that become what? Correct. Responsible for trade in services. Okay? And that's the differences between the GATT and WTO. And now let's proceed to the IMF and the World Bank, or the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. So IMF, or the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank were founded after the World War II. Okay, ha? Founded ni sila after the World War II. So their establishment was mainly because of peace advocacy after the war. And these institutions, kaning IMF and World Bank, aimed to help the economic stability of the world, and both of them are basically banks, but instead of being started by individuals like regular banks, they were started by countries. Okay, and most of the world's countries were members of the two institutions. But of course, the richest countries were those who handled most of the financing, and ultimately those who had the greatest influence. Okay, next we have this. The IMF and the World Bank were designed to complement each other. So the IMF main goal was to help countries which were in trouble at the times and who could not obtain money by any means. Mana siya ang main goal sa International Monetary Fund. And the World Bank, in comparison, had a more long-term approach. And the main goal of this World Bank revolved around the eradication of poverty, and it funded specific projects that help them reach their goals, especially sa mga poor countries. Mana siya ang differences between the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, and the World Bank. Again, the main goal of IMF was to help countries which were in trouble at times and who could not obtain any means of money, while the main goal of the World Bank is to revolve around the eradication of poverty. And that's the end of our discussion. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you learned something new today. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep safe, everyone, and God bless us all. Thank you.